prepared to say the Republicans would put a hold on his nomination or filibuster.
I can tell you there'd be very little Republican support for his nomination. At the end of the day, there will be very few votes.
Senator Feinstein, you are going to introduce legislation this week on the first day of the new Congress on Thursday to ban assault weapons and magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Why is that more effective than the NRA proposal to put armed guards in every school?
Well, in the first place, 1/3 of America's public schools does have armed guards. Secondly, there were armed guards at Columbine. They couldn't stop the shooters. So the question comes, what do we do about the growing sophistication of military weapons on the streets of our cities? They aren't good hunting weapons. I mean, no hunter, in my view, worth his or her salt would use an assault weapon to hunt. And they're not necessarily good defensive weapons. So what we would do is take the earlier bill and strengthen it in many ways. Prevent the gun manufacturers from getting around it as they did. Go to a one physical characteristic test. Take specific models and ban their manufacture, their sale, and their transfer. And take the weapons that are grandfathered, that are in possession now, and put them under the Federal Firearms Act so that they would be licensed, there would be background checks done. America has to bite the bullet of what these incidents mean to our people, to our nation, and our nation's standing in the world. When you have someone walking in and slaying in the most brutal way 6-year-olds, something is really wrong. This is one effort, and there are other things we should do to try to put weapons under some kind of appropriate authority.
Senator Graham, you support the NRA plan to put more school security in place, and you oppose Senator Feinstein's assault weapons ban. Why is she wrong?
Well, we had the assault weapons ban from 1994 to 2004, and the conclusion was it did not change crime by banning assault weapons in an appreciable way. And last year was the lowest murder rate in the history of the United States. People are buying more guns, murder rates have gone down. You're talking about preventing mass murder by a mentally unstable person. You can't take every sharp object out of the reach of people like this. I own an AR-15. I have done nothing wrong by owning that gun. If you had armed security with better rules of engagement, that to me is a better way to deal with this situation, and the best way is to identify these people before they act and do something about it. So I think the assault weapons ban didn't work then, it's not going to work now, and I will oppose it.
So, for all the talk and all the horror, and I think both of you, I know both of you feel it about Newtown, yes, and the tragedy there, will Congress do anything this year to address mass murders, whether it's more gun control, whether it's changes to our mental health laws and access to mental health, whether it's violence in the media? Senator?
Well, I believe we're going to certainly try. Now let me respond to Lindsey about the murder rate. Over 9,000 people are killed with guns a year. Where there aren't guns, there isn't that murder rate. 9,000 people, that's a lot of people. Secondly, I think we've come to a point where these mass murders, the grievance killers that go out there, that get the most sophisticated weapon they can possibly get their hands in, and then go into movie theaters, malls, offices, businesses, and schools, and mow down people. You have to have some appropriate controls on these weapons. Now, Lindsey may feel safer because he's got an AR-15. I don't know. That's up to him. He would not be affected by this. But I think having a system where these very powerful weapons, as a matter of fact, the Bushmaster has a legal slide you can put on it to make it fully automatic and just pump out slews of bullets
I want to give
at a given
Senator
time.
Graham an opportunity to respond briefly, and then I want to move on.
Well, the bottom line is, is this triggered by the movies people watch, the videos they watch, or the books they read? We have a First Amendment and a Second Amendment. They're not absolute. You can regulate guns, you can regulate speech. But what she is proposing is a massive intervention. Gun sales are up and crime is down. It's a false sense of security you're pursuing here. You're not going to be able to stop mass murderers with no criminal record just by taking my AR-15 and making me pay $200 and get my fingerprints and say I can't buy another one. It didn't work then, these people before the act, put security in places they're likely to go, like schoolhouses. If you go into this Capitol, you're going to be met with some armed force. If you go into a schoolhouse, the best solution to protect children is to have somebody there to stop the shooter, not get everybody's gun in the country.
We're not going to solve this today, and let me forgive me, but I just want to move on to one other subject, which actually has been holding up action, a lot of people would say.